like, look, we're making the new counterculture whether they want it or not. So who's going to run the non-woke answer to Newsarama or the non-autistic IGN?
Our new co-host that will be taking Richard's spot on the show is Mr. Emily Music! My next co-host, the man who will absolutely make you change. And by making you change, what I mean by that is he is going to help you change from having that story in your head to putting it on paper and putting it into people's hands. And this is the man, the myth, the legend, Daniel P. Riley of whimsyland.org.
Alcohol. A good Christian boy.
Number 1 Iron Age Booty Daddy.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Royce. Welcome back to A Drink with Crazy. I am buying a goat. I love goat. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Iron Age Nights. What's going on, everybody? Woo. Oh, that hurts.
Good evening.
I was too loud for me. Oh, fun times. What's going on, everybody? Hello, hello. Oh, this is going to be an absolutely fantastic. I am really glad that we did the event last weekend in the Discord, because I totally forgot that our guest was on this week, and now he was on last week in the Discord, and it's really cool, so everybody gets to talk about this. This is going to be a great night. What's going on, everybody? Over on the Rumbles, we've got Garham and Skunk's Workshop hanging out over on the Green Mean website. What's going on? We also have Horizon Talker, Garham, hanging out, and we've got RH Snow as well as JVP Music. What's going on, man? Oh, it is good to see everybody this evening. I am probably going to be in and out tonight because I'm sick, and I'm the stomach kind of sick, which is the least attractive kind of sick, even though every kind of sick is not very attractive. So anyway, I might be in and out tonight a lot more than usual. Ram, what's going on, Ram? Ow, I can't do that. I'm too loud for me. Anyway, Daniel, how are you doing, good sir?
I'm hanging in there.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Whimsyland is dead. The website is dead. So it'll be a couple of months before we've got it back up. I'm going to have to do a completely new rebuild, but as they say, we're going to build it even better than the last version.
You're going to build back better?
Yes. And actually do it.
Don't say it like that. Don't say it.
I will. I'll happily do it.
Don't.
I build back better.
No. And we're losing people. They heard that and they left. They were like, and we're out. Nope, not getting there.
Yeah.
Oh,
no, wait.
Right.
Come on,
build
man.
back better, man.
You know the thing.
All right, Jack.
You know the thing. Oh, God. Emily Music, what's going on, man? Ow, I'm too loud.
Hey, not too much, man. It's been a pretty good week. It's still tons of stuff going on, but it's always an exciting week. A couple of the things that I backed showed up back to back, which is exciting. So I got
That's cool.
Von Coleman's Phenomenova. That showed up. I haven't finished it yet, but it's off to a good start. And what I think is the best book the Ripperverse has put out, The Horseman. Great book. We're going to be talking about that on the Seas coming up here soon. But it's always a good week whenever things you back show up. So that was a
You
good
didn't
read.
mind the six-fingered man?
Six-fingered man. I don't think I caught the six-fingered man. And the horseman?
Yeah, it's the usual Ripperverse idiots crowing about bad art. I can't tell if it's actually really in the book or if they manufactured it or not.
I gotta reread it now and just look for that finger. It's gonna ruin the story for me, I'm sure. The writing's just gonna be
there's an image
Photoshop.
There's an image where it looks like he's got 6 fingers on his one hand, and they blew it up real big to show everybody.
I gotta say I missed that. I was too engrossed in the story, so I gotta go back to it. It was good, man.
I might make it nonsensical. HT Horizon Talker, better build back. I might make it nonsensical and just make it back better build.
People are like, what the hell? Oh no.
Magic Chan.
Hi, Maji.
Hey.
Oh, and Call the Road. What's going on, man? It's good to see everybody in the chat. People are filtering in slowly. Do me a favor, guys. Share this out on Twitter or whatever social media you're on. That way, you can let people know that we're live and that we're doing this. It's going to be awesome.
Only if the Dread Pirate Roberts is looking for you, JVP.
Right. And ladies and gentlemen, a man that we have had here on the show before and was in the Discord and did the first like VIP hangout in the Discord with his movie and let us have a private screening last weekend. The award-winning indie film creator, Jarrod Christman.
Dude, how fun was that last week?
Dude, that was great,
right?
man. That was so like with the chat there and all of us sitting there watching the movie and having a good time. Like that was awesome, man.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, I really appreciate that last week, man. That was a ton of fun.
No. Yeah, man. Thank
Dude,
you.
that was great. And then obviously you stuck around and did the Q&A afterwards. Shit, we talked for like an hour and a half after the movie. That was really cool for you to do that. I'm glad people got to ask questions. Like that doesn't really happen I'm like, man, I really want to be able to do that again and like get like more people in on it because that would be an absolute blast. But
like all those suggestions you put in that poll the other day too, like all of those would be good. For that VIP room and Discord, I would do any of those.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Whether it's just movie night, gaming, fight nights. We talked about doing fight nights, like doing streaming the fights and stuff like that, and gaming. Yeah, it depends. I might do a gaming night just and hang out and see how that goes here in a few Saturdays. I'm not sure. I was gonna do it tomorrow potentially, but that's not gonna happen because I have to work on my truck, and I'm gonna be really, really pissed off tomorrow. like it's like I know. It's like I've done this before. So yeah. But Jarrod, for those of you who don't know who you are, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is I'm Jarrod Christman, and I am I'm a guy who made a movie.
I'm a guy who made a movie.
And it started off as something else, and then it turned into a feature film, a full-length feature film, and luckily I encountered the name A Drink with Crazy listening to a different show, and it's like, I'm gonna check that out. That's a really cool name. And then I met Daniel, and this whole thing kind of started snowballing from there, and it's been great, man. It's like I like this our little corner of the Iron Age is the most fun. I swear, it's awesome.
Dude, I freaking love the community that's gathered over here. They are unbelievably like ruthless and kind all at the same time. It's ridiculous.
Like hanging out with people from Boston always.
Right.
Yeah, exactly what you mean.
Oh, dude. And like I said, so last week, so for those of you who don't know, Ballad of Missouri Bill, or Missouri Breaks Ballad of Missouri Bill, is an indie film that Jarrod produced and put out this year. He's working on getting distribution going. So for those of you who want to watch it, eventually that will be a thing. It's just a matter of getting all that squared away. But no, he ended up putting it out, doing the premiere, submitting it to some film festivals, and winning a few film festivals that he submitted to. So that I want to hear about that whole experience of like what it takes to submit, like the movies that you were up against, what categories you were in, like that, because I haven't really heard a bunch about that. And I know like last week we kind of talked about it a little bit, but not really, because like the chat was asking a bunch of questions too. But like, what was that like, man? You get your movie done, you're on that hype train, and then you're like, oh, I gotta do this now.
Yeah. Yeah. I found via a friend of mine, who, well, actually, I mean, he was one who helped me edit. I'd do a cut, and then he and I would get together and watch it. It's like, do we like this? Is this working? Do you like this? And back and forth. And he had a friend who had done a movie and was on the film festival circuit last year. And so he introduced me to this wonderful resource, filmfreeway.com. And it is essentially a hub of filmmakers and a hub for filmmakers and film festivals to connect. And so a lot of these film festivals, they want you to submit through Film Freeway exclusively because it streamlines the process.
Makes
and so
sense.
yeah, and it's essentially just like almost like a social media platform for filmmakers and
Cool.
film festivals. And so yeah, I have the film up on I have the film and all 4 music videos. One of them is not released yet. I haven't released it yet for To Kill an Old Friend. But the 2 videos I have from the film and our video for Midnight Montgomery are all up there, and they're just password protected. And I just select if I find a festival that looks like it might be a good fit for us, I select the festival, enter the categories, and then select the project that I want for each category. And it streamlines it so much, dude.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really nice. And I mean, and it's global. So I mean, you can sign up for film festivals in Uganda if you want. Like, it's everywhere.
Bro, Jarrod Christman flying to Uganda. Let's see
There you
how
go.
big.
I was gonna say, is there a
Turns out it's
temptation
like
you
the
ever see,
biggest
like-
thing in Uganda, and we're just like, he's a star over there. What the hell? Well, it's
Where
like
do
if
I
you
want a
kind of,
vacation?
I mean,
That
let's be
happens.
honest. You're used to a little bit of fanfare because I mean, just when we first met, you kind of been around the block in the music world and may or may not have been in a band that a lot of people recognize the name of.
Yeah, and
Then-
downplays that fact a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like one of the most humble people I've. Yeah, were you were singer on that or guitarist?
So I played guitar, and then I did all the clean vocals. So all
the
the
clean
all the singing was me.
Yeah.
Max was all the screaming because his voice
Yeah.
is just so raw. It's so good.
For the band Corpus Christi, guys, if you
Yep.
guys have ever for metalheads out there, like
Which is it's always funny to me when people recognize that, because like we just like in Corpus Christi, it was always such a struggle. Like everything was hard, and we never made any money, and it was just so like to run into people even now, it was just like they find out like I was in Corpus Christi. It's like, oh yeah, I remember that band. Like, what was it?
Yeah.
How do you know that?
I don't know. I knew the name. Like when I found, I was like, no way. And I like went back. I was like, I remember this. I was like, no way. This is
That's
crazy. You're
awesome.
that guy? That's nuts.
yeah. Now I can be like, dude, I know that guy. But so
That was what happened to me when Jarrod first reached out for help with his the novel he's been working on. We were talking and it didn't click at first. I was just like, the name looks familiar, but I just don't like, it's not hitting. And it had to have been days later. All of a sudden I came barreling down the stairs from the office and my daughter's in the living room. And I'm like, the guy I'm working for used to be in Corpus Christi. And she's like, what? And I'm like, bring up YouTube right now.
bring up YouTube right now.
Because it just clicked in my head suddenly. It was like, oh shit, wait. I looked, of course, consult the Oracle and confirm first.
Dude, that's so you get through the streamlined process, which sounds really cool. I'm so glad that they're doing stuff like that. And how many festivals did you get accepted to?
So far,
Oh, so far.
let me look. Actually,
That was like 6 or something.
Yeah, I wanted to say 7 that I remember you mentioning, but my
Unless the
math
numbers
was
are
off.
going up.
it's 7 7. Yeah, 7 total
Wow.
right now.
Nice.
And then there are 10 pending.
Nice.
And some of those are as far out as like July next year. So we won't even know if we were selected until like March.
Mhm.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, well, dude, I want to see you go into the double digits for being accepted because I think that'd be really cool.
Thanks, man. That's cool. Yeah. I didn't realize this until the last, the two selections ago, 2 official selections ago, between the film and the video, the amount of or the percentage of selections that we had put us in like the top 5% of indie films.
Nice.
In terms of acceptance to film festivals.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, "Are you kidding? That's awesome."
So, again, when we watched the film last week in the Discord, by the way, guys, go join the Discord. I should probably drop that link. But
Yeah, you should.
which is a great freaking plug. Like, hey, dude, we got indie film guys over here. You should check out my Discord and we can go watch their movies. That is a great advertising strategy for me. But no, when we watched it last week, I was as honest with you as I could be. I'm like, all right, Jarrod, here's where I was at. I set my expectations for this on the floor. And because it's an indie project, it's your first film, I get a lot of people are excited for it. Community's super backing it, but I'm like, yeah, okay, like let's just see. I was heavily surprised. Like I was like, wait a minute, this doesn't seem like it's your first movie. I was like, this seems like a second or third or even fourth attempt of a movie, depending on. And I'm like, the fact that you got what you got with the problems that you had, just blew my mind. I was like, this is freaking crazy. And
I kind of had insider info on it.
well, yeah, of course. But that's what was so it doesn't surprise me that you would get picked that highly because when people are like, wait a minute, this is
Me
this
neither.
dude's first film? Like it doesn't surprise me at all that you're getting picked to a point where it's like top 5%, at least in that regard for where you're submitting and
For
all
sure,
that.
yeah.
Because again, it was genuinely surprising because you don't see first attempts like that from people. Again, that's usually not a first attempt. That's usually like a second or third or fourth attempt with how well put together it was.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
So
Shout out Sham, my buddy Sham in this chat. What's up, buddy? I love you.
Oh, good lord! This is the whole film.
Yeah, I gave you the whole thing. If you so you could pull from anywhere if you wanted.
All right, let me. Oh, I want to do my favorite scene, but I probably shouldn't do my favorite scene because that's a pretty big scene in the movie. I probably shouldn't do my favorite scene.
Why not?
It's your show, dude. You do what you want.
Because that is such a pivotal scene in the movie. And it's so freaking good.
Which is why you should show it to everybody.
Yeah, I should probably show that scene because that's one of the. Okay, hold on. All right, fine, I'll show it. I just got to get right.
It's a problem when I'm the voice of reason here.
Yeah.
Daniel, were you pre-gaming before the show?
No.
Oh, okay.
Nah, I kind of slept half the day away because I wasn't feeling well earlier.
So, this is at the end of the Oracle scene. I absolutely love this. And this.
I love the Oracle.
Dude, Robert's so fun.
I love the gallop fits the song. But this is my favorite scene in the movie. And I'm going to shut up and listen to this because it is so freaking good. This is where the movie turned a page for me from being...
I never understood you. I'd thought riding with Sherman had been enough to get that out of your system. If I had to do it all over again, I'd tell Colonel Bordeaux what you did to Beckwith. He was a good man. He deserved better than that. What I really don't understand is Memphis. I mean, the war was over. And I don't think you gave a damn about the gold. At least not anymore. I think you just did it for the blood. Hell, I don't even know why I waited around for you in Memphis to see if you was on the mend.
So good.
You know I'm gonna kill you now. Still. I reckon if you hadn't done what you did in Knoxville, I never would have met June. Sure as hell ain't gonna thank you for it. I'm tired of you putting me in this position. I'm done choosing you. June didn't even want me to go out on this drive. Ranfield tried to tell me too. I didn't believe either of them until you shot me. You know what the sad thing is, Shooter? Part of me's gonna miss you when you're gone. What the hell's wrong with me?
That is my favorite scene of the whole freaking film. I'm
That's
sitting
cool,
just,
man.
dude. I'm getting tense. Like I about busted my keyboard tray off of the desk just now. It is so freaking tense, and especially as a dream sequence, because there's a lot of dream sequences that just they play it up way too much. Or it's really campy or it's cheesy or whatever. But the fact that that dream sequence was a man squaring up with his own demons, I was like, God, like that changed the fun ride that I was on with watching it last weekend and completely recontextualized the film and going, oh, wow. This is way deeper than I thought it was. This is way better than I thought it was. Again, and it's not that it wasn't that it was bad before. It was like I said, I set my expectations on the floor. I'm watching this movie. I'm having a good time with it. Your shots are freaking great. I miss good wide angle shots. I can't believe the drone footage that you got. I know you guys had some issues because of the ADR, because you had a corrupted sound file. And I was like, all right, that stuff is there. And then that scene hit, and I was just like, holy crap.
Thanks, man.
And that's because it could be a person hanging on to a bad person in their life, a person hanging on to a bad addiction in their life, a person hanging on to somebody that they thought they used to be. I mean, there's so much that you can get from that scene, and I was like, God, it's again, I love that scene so much because of how it just reframed my because it wasn't just a cowpoke film anymore. And I freaking love that. And I don't know, I'll turn it over to you at this point, but And I know why you put that scene in there, but man, again, I love that scene so much, and I just have to praise you for it one more time.
Dude, thank you, man. And like, I mean, what you said is exactly why that scene's there. And like like I had thought about playing with like a halation effect and just some other stuff to kind of separate it a little bit more from the rest of the shots. And I didn't think it needed it, like, because like the point wasn't that you need to be so removed from this from this experience, from the rest of the film as its own experience. The point was what you said. It's just like, I know what I personally was bringing there, and I wanted that to be a springboard for whatever anybody else is going to bring to that scene. Yeah. Like whatever, because everybody's got something they have to face at some point or another. And so, so for you to say that and pick that up out of the scene without me having to explain that it's super gratifying for me and affirming for me, because like that was what I was trying to do with that scene the whole time. Dude, thank you.
There's one line in that, and like that I love, is it's, his wife and the other guy said that, oh, I shouldn't trust you, and it's again, it's that friend that is dragging you down. It's that thing that you do, and people that are close to you, or just even good friends of yours, they tell you, they're like, hey, get away from this person, get away from that thing you're doing, and you're like, I just didn't believe him.
Yeah,
just didn't listen. And I'm so glad that you put that in there, because I think that is the key point where it clicked in my brain what it was. That particular line is like, oh, people who care about him are saying, don't, and it's him realizing that he should have listened earlier. It is so freaking good.
Thank you, man. I love that. That's awesome. And like I was saying, like on the stream, like that was the one scene I was the most, self-conscious of and like kind of insecure about, because it was just me talking. Mm-hmm. So like I had to carry that whole thing, and like with just dialogue and facial expression. That's all I had. And I don't know what I'm doing. Like I'm not a trained actor. And so like, but I knew what I wanted out of the scene. I knew what I wanted. And so I just kept trying until I got it. And, so yeah, man, it feels good for you to be able to pull that out of it, and like it's good for me as a storyteller to feel like the point of that scene landed without explanation. So I feel like I left enough in front of and behind the curtain that it works for everybody.
For sure.
I think you did, man. And it like I said, the two things that kind of blew me away were that scene and then just the cattle drive scene. Because I'm looking at you guys on the horses and stuff like that. I'm like, all right, this is either really fun to film or this is a nightmare. That cattle drive scene, that was like a half hour in the opening. And I'm like, a half hour getting this many shots, I'm like, those guys were either having the best day of their lives or the worst day of their lives.
I think it was a little bit of both.
Right.
So for that scene, for that cattle drive scene, we shot that all in one day. And we, Raleigh and I
shot that in a day. That's ridiculous.
So Raleigh's the guy that played Renfield.
Okay.
Smiley. He was his name.
Yeah.
And so he and I are the only two that know how to ride. And like Raleigh owns a ranch, and I mean he's a horseman and a cattleman, so he knows what he's doing. I grew up on horses, so we knew what we were doing. But Weston, Silas, and Mac had no idea. They didn't ride, and then never had never worked cattle. So there's riding, and then there's working cattle from
That's a
horseback.
totally different.
And so we threw that, like they got thrown in the Shark Tank. That was
So
that was
Silas, when you're like, have you ever done this before? No. The dude who's playing him has never done this before.
He
no.
wasn't even in character, he was just being himself.
Yeah, he was just being himself.
It's like,
Well, what's funny is, so like we actually had to put that scene in there practically, because like we were able to bring 5 horses down, but we needed 6, because of some of the stuff we'd already shot with Bill was on a different horse, and so for continuity's sake, we had to figure out how to get Bill on a different horse, because the horse that I had shot a lot of footage on previously,
right,
anybody can ride that horse. Like Magnum, that little bay is one of the best horses to ride for anybody. Anybody can ride him. He makes everybody look like they're a professional.
That's a good horse, man.
Such a good horse. And we went out and as we were prepping, we thought like we should really do a riding practice day out at the ranch. And so myself, Mac, and Silas all went out to meet Raleigh, and we put Silas on the white horse that Bill rides, Rocket, and the horse we call Curly in the film. And Rocket is great when he's doing what he knows how to do, like on the trail with other horses. Right. Outside of that, but if you take him out of that, you really got to have a strong hand on him, because he'll test you. Yeah. And
he's got personality.
We're in this arena, and poor Silas is just like swimming. He's all over the place. I was like, and I told Janice, Raleigh's wife, and because she was our head wrangler, and I said, we got to put Silas on Magnum. I'll figure out the script, but we got to put Silas on Magnum.
So that was like he's gonna kill him.
Because like I know, like once we're down there, like we're in the middle of a 200-acre. Well, the field, the main field we shot in was like 60 acres, but it's 60 acres with a herd of cattle in it that we have to manage while we're trying to get shots. And I was like, we can't put Silas on a different horse. He's got to be on Magnum. And then the ranch the ranch we filmed on in southern Idaho, she had a couple horses, and the one that I ended up riding, Gunsmoke, was he is one of my favorite horses that I've ever ridden in my life. Like I would make another movie just to ride that horse. Like it was so much fun. Now he was a hothead. Like the first 100 yards I rode on, I had that little hop you see horses do sometimes with their back, like he wanted to go. And so we couldn't have Silas on him either. So I was like, okay, I'll figure it. We'll do this swap in the scene, and it actually ended up reinforcing Silas's character, or at least the kind of the archetype that Silas represents is like that naive, innocent like the innocent kid that's caught up with bad people that he shouldn't be around because he doesn't know any better. And so it kind of reinforced his character development. And so we just leaned into it. It's like, just go over there and try to stay on that horse while we film you.
That was him actually. Like that wasn't acting. He was actually struggling to stay on the horse.
Sometimes, yes. Yeah.
That is so freaking great. I love that you guys did that on the fly. Oh my God, I love behind the scenes. I want to see the behind the scenes so bad.
Yeah, we got some good stuff, man. Some really good stuff.
It's so freaking good.
But yeah, so but all 3 of those guys, like they were sore the next day. And what's hilarious, what's really funny is so Silas pulls a total rock star move. So Silas has a forgive me, Silas, if I'm wrong, if you're watching, but I believe it's a Road King. Like he's got a big Harley.
Yeah, those are fat. The Road Kings are fat.
Yeah, and we're 9 hours. It's a 9-hour drive from where we live to where we were shooting. And he's like, I'm going to ride the bike down. So the day before, Silas rides all 9 hours of this drive on his hog all the way down, and then we put him on a horse for like 12 hours.
Mistakes were made.
His butt was so sore.
Yeah, I bet.
Mistakes were made. Oh man.
It's probably nice getting back on the bike after that though, because a horse they just kind of do things they want to sometimes. But a bike,
yeah.
you give it gas, it goes straight. It doesn't want to eat the grass. It doesn't want to go that is, you know.
Before the first take, like we were setting up, Liam and I, the DP, we were setting up the two cameras for the first shot of the cattle drive, while Raleigh had taken the other riders and they were out moving getting the cattle in position. Well, Weston, the guy that plays the Reverend, his horse was over. They were doing something with his horse and they had separated. So Raleigh and Silas and Mac all ride over with the cattle, and there's probably 200 yards between Janice, the Wrangler, and Weston and with the other horse. And
keep talking, guys. I'm just gonna play this. I will mute it, but keep going. I'm just gonna let this play so guys can see what we're talking about. But keep going.
Yeah, but those other horses are used to being together, like they're used to being close together because of the nature of the work they do on their own ranch. And so Raleigh and the other two horses are off away. Weston is over here, and Janice says, "Well, just kick him. He'll go on over there." So Weston kicks him, but because they're so far apart, like Weston's horse is big, this big, beautiful red gelding. He just bolts full speed. And Weston doesn't know how to ride. So Weston's got like a death grip on the horn. His hat's flying off. And he's like doing this across the field, full speed. And like Liam and I are up there, like sitting on the ground, howling and laughing. Because he's getting ripped across the field.
Oh my God, I hope you got that on camera.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Dude, that's so good, man. Oh man, I didn't realize you guys were actually driving cattle too.
Yeah.
Like that's nuts. That you guys were actually doing that. So, oh hey, there's a red heifer over there. I saw that. There are a couple of them, but yeah, dude, that's just this is one of my favorite too. Just these wide still shots, you know, or semi-still, like handheld shots.
Yeah.
They're so good. They're so good. I like just classic film. These drone shots too are freaking phenomenal. Like,
yeah.
Like those, like, is that a drone shot or is that somebody on a hill?
That's a static shot on a tripod with a 600 mil lens.
Okay, like these, I just love shots like this. They're just so good, and that camera you use is wild, man. God, that looks so good. But
whenever you first was like passing the trailers around and everything, I saw, I'm like, wow, this is really incredible. Is this an indie guy? And I remember being like, what kind of cameras are you using? Because I was like, please say it's a phone of some sort. Like, no, man, that's the real deal. It's like, shit.
You're like, I wanted to do it, but I don't have that
I thought you had a couple
money.
tricks. I was like, dang it. Yeah.
Yeah. The cameras are a tricky beast, man. Like it's like the price equivalent cameras that you can get that are for filming, like equal price for the cameras we were using. You don't get as good a quality if you go with them as opposed to like we were using the Canon R5, the Canon 9ED, like with just like Canon lenses. That's the quality you get. But if you go to the video cameras that are going to be at an equivalent price, it's a huge discrepancy in the video quality, because there's a pretty significant price jump if you want to get like a film camera that you can get really good shots on and not have to kill yourself in post to get that out of it. Like you want like really quality capture that requires minimal post. it gets spendy.
Yeah, I've heard. Dude, I've looked into just better cameras just to do this here, and my God, cameras just get expensive.
Yeah.
Oh, you want mediocre quality for a YouTube video? $1,200. What? Oof.
Yeah.
Oh, no. I'll stick with my $100 ones. Like, I guess if I make the kind of money one day, maybe. But yeah, cameras get that, and that's just a world that I don't know. And so that's something. When you said you were using the Canons, I was like, oh wow, because I know those are significantly cheaper than, just because I've looked up the Canon the R5.
Yeah.
I've looked that one up before. Significantly cheaper than some others out there.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, like after having to do color correction and color grading, I swear by that R5.
Yeah.
Like its white balance is almost perfect no matter what your lighting is. Like in some of those campfire scenes with this low light, we're almost exclusively using the natural firelight.
Mm-hmm.
The white balance is still almost perfect.
That's wild.
It's crazy, dude, how good that camera was.
That's wild. I just hearing the whole thing. How cold was it, by the way? Because I know it was colder than hell when you were filming.
There was a couple nights that were real cold. That one, the scene where Bill meets up with Smiley, that's legit real snow. I would think it was about 17 degrees that day.
Oh.
Or no, sorry, I take that back. It was 27 degrees that day. It was about 9 or 10 degrees when we shot the flashback scene in the snow. And I was like crawling around in the snow. and what was stupid about that, we had a week of 40-degree weather. Like it had been 40. It was February last year. Or no, it was February this year. Sorry. Yeah, it was February 15th was that day. It had been 40 degrees the week before. And that day it got windy and stupid cold.
Oh.
And they were filming at night. And so I'm crawling in the snow. I was like, it's a good thing this coat is heavy because I'd be freezing to death. Like everybody had like layers, base layers under their wardrobe and everything.
Yeah, dude, I can't even imagine. Well, and especially like when you're filming up in the Rockies too. What elevation were you guys at?
So in southern Idaho, we were at the Longhorn Ranch, I believe, is at 6,200 feet.
That's not too shabby. That's getting up there.
Yeah. Yep. The Equine Merritt Ranch, or Merritt Equine Ranch, where we shot the gunfight, and that's the other scene, the scene where Bill threatened Silas. Mm-hmm. That was even a little higher. And then I think down to, we're probably about 4,000 feet when we're shooting up here.
Okay.
So it's up and down a little bit.
No, I was just wondering because I know going up to different elevations and things like that, people can you chance hypoxia, mm-hmm. right, or altitude sickness, and nobody got that, did they?
No. I mean, everybody's lived here for so long.
Okay, cool, good.
They're used to it.
So, obviously, this has been your baby for what, 2 years now, 3 years now, something.
Just
like
about
that.
Yeah, about 2.
What was your favorite part of the whole process? Like, you got to pick a favorite part. You can't cheap out and be like, well, I really like the whole. No, I'm not. No, we're not doing that. And it could be, and it doesn't have to just be like the acting or like a scene shot. It could be like, figuring out problems. It could be working, with the music, teaching people how to act, or try to get actors who aren't actors learning how to act. Like, what was your favorite part of
I think right now, looking back at it, my favorite part was in the editing process, seeing it come together, like
Okay.
seeing it all coalesce into a cohesive story. That was so exciting, dude. Like it was exciting, and it was fun to the point where like I was burning up 60 hour, 65 hour a week and not even knowing that I was doing it, like because like I would just sit down and just go, because it was just a blast. It was a blast to do, to get it, to put it together and just like nitpick every little cut and like try to find the best angle, and just finagle, just squeezing every last drop out of it I could. That was, I think, the most fun.
Yeah, I think JVP's got it right. Seeing it come together and start to hit is a great drug. Yeah, that's a high that you can really only get from doing that. It's wild.
Yeah, man, it was, and I'd say second to that was just filming, especially filming the campfire, like all the scenes where we were all together, like shooting those scenes. That was so much fun.
Oh, I'm sure you guys were bullshitting and having
a
laugh.
Yeah. I tell you, I've smoked so many backwoods cigars. I don't.
She's like, I'm on my third cigar for this scene, guys. Let's wrap it up.
Oh yeah, yeah. And what's funny is
that's the dream for me.
It's like, I love cigars, but like, it's backwoods. I mean, it's a $2.75 pack,
right?
Yeah.
Worth every penny.
Oh yeah,
right. Reminds me of me back in high school.
Oh man.
But you get so like, because we would be just sitting there and like I tried to keep the dialogue as conversational as possible, and so I never, there were only when it was critical to a plot point did I want the line to be exactly what was written down. Everything else I allowed, that was, let's just go with what feels like we're having a real conversation here. So in the middle of this, Silas and Mac and I were smoking cigars and we're not paying attention. And like, there's a couple of times when it's like a clip, like a take that I really wanted to use, I couldn't use because of continuity with cigar length, or like there was one shot that I wanted to use, but Silas had, like, in the shot, Silas threw his cigar, his shot cigar in the fire.
Oh no.
But the next, like the reaction line to that, he had like a full cigar. It's like, oh no. So it was like working around that kind of stuff, because it's like we were just having fun, man. Like out there just sipping coffee and drinking cigars by a fire, dressed as cowboys. Like, it was just fun.
Dude, that's freaking wild, man. And then it looks so good too. Like, and you can tell that the wind is ripping right now too. Look at how that fire's leaning. Look at that.
Yeah.
The wind is just ripping, man. I'm surprised you guys got that good of audio with the wind howling like that.
That was tricky. Like, we got lucky there because I think just because of our body position to the wind, the mic was protected.
Oh, okay.
But like, yeah, we got lucky. There was a lot of stuff. There was a lot of takes. It's like, oh, this is a great take, but just the wind just ripping by the mic. And like, we didn't have any good mobile audio capture equipment.
What were you using?
We were using
okay.
This is where it gets real gorilla here.
Let's go. Okay, I'm down. Let's go. Good luck, all in.
We were using these little lavalier mics that are like AAA battery powered lav mics with like minimal settings on it, and just tuck it in your pocket and hope it doesn't show up in the shot. And
wait, how much did they cost? This is going to be the fun part.
They were both borrowed, so I don't know. I don't know how much they are, really.
Because I've looked up getting like lavalier mics and stuff like this to do different setups and move things, and like kind of okay ones where you get a pair of them. They're like rechargeable. they're like $220.
Yeah, that's probably that sounds about right.
Jeez,
Yeah.
did they? Was it locally stored, or did it beam it somewhere else, or did it have? Was it local storage?
It has a
SD.
mini
Yeah.
SD.
Yeah. Okay, that was why. Okay, because I was wondering, I was like, how in the hell did you get that good of audio? That just pisses me off. That's like that's so freaking good.
But some of that, man, it's like some of it, like, but then like the trick with those is because like we are our own sound guy. Like there's no sound guy like cutting when you know, when I call cut or Weston calls cut, there's no sound guy like killing the sound. And so sometimes I'd have the lav battery in my pocket and be sitting there, we'd call cut and I'd forget all about it. And we'd just sit there and it's like 10 minutes of just people just shooting the breeze while we're changing the camera angle or restoking the fire. So like this. So when I pull all that up to like start weeding through audio takes, it's like, oh no, what have I done?
15 hours audio.
Oh yeah. There was one take on that was 18 minutes and 42 seconds long. And the only usable piece was right at the very beginning. But I had to listen to all 18 minutes.
Yeah,
of it
because you needed to make sure that you got the right. That's so freaking. Did you ever turn it off when you thought that it was off and you actually turned it, you wanted to turn it on? Did you ever do that?
Yep. And then there was a couple times I thought I had it on, do the scene, and then realized like we have no audio. I was like, come on.
Oh. I've done that, dude. Yep. I've done even just for my obviously it's a lot more for you guys because you're doing a movie. I've recorded entire videos where I had the mic off. 12 minute long videos. And like I know, right? Yeah, exactly. And the bad part is it was a great take. It was one of those that I was like on it and I was like, damn, dude, I was so good.
Yep.
And then I'm like, no, where's the audio?
It only is off on the good takes, never on the bad ones.
Oh yeah, never on the bad. It's always on the bad ones.
Yeah.
Yep. That's the worst.
Dude, I had a couple. I had one like critical moment that I didn't even see it until late in the editing process. Like I was on like the third cut of the film, third full cut of the film.
Wow.
And I'm watching it. I'm watching this scene because I had finally gotten the audio. Like the color was good, the audio was where I wanted it. So I'm really fine tuning the scene, and I'm watching. It's like, did I just look at the camera? And I rewind. I was like, no.
Oh no.
And there's a scene like I'm in this like pivotal moment with Smiley, and Bill's having this moment where he's just like his friend is offered to help, but he's he has all of this guilt about his other friends.
That was a
great scene. And I go to turn, and as I turn to say the line, I straight down the barrel at the camera as I'm like turning to look at him, like
yeah.
I was like, you have got to be kidding me. That was the best take that I had the whole thing, but I couldn't use it because I'm like,
here's right here. Hey,
are you watching?
Right here.
It's so hard though. Like I don't know what it is. It's like just don't look at the camera. Like why didn't you look at the camera? You can sit here and talk on these shows forever without looking at it. But something about whenever you're doing a scene,
pay attention.
You like your eye. I don't know. It's just weird that you're like, oh, and like most people do it, and it's just strange. Like just don't look at it. Don't look at it. Don't. Damn it.
I've been training myself to look at the camera lens more. Even like you guys are over here. I'm not actually looking at you guys. Like the camera is right. And I've been training myself to do that because it looks a lot more natural. But like if we were actually in a video call, I would be sitting like this because this is where you guys are. But no. But so to do that though, and then like, or even if you're just used to looking at a camera at all in like these web calls or whatever, and then you just look at the camera in a movie that you're making. It's like, and it's a freaking Western. You can't like pull a Deadpool. You can't just be like, hi, that's right, I see you. You can't, like, this is, dude, that sucks. Was that your best take?
It was, yeah.
Oh, no.
Could you throw it in After Effects and just like take your eyes from the previous frame and just put them in there? So like, just skip when you look up?
Somebody could. That's beyond my skills.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, I was like, oh no.
That sucks.
Oh man, dude, it just.
And what's funny is that the take that ended up in the film of that was the second day we tried to shoot that scene, because we were just trying to cram so much in to our schedule that when we finished the cattle drive, we did a wardrobe change. We got over in position, we set everything up, and we tried to get Phil, but we just lost the light before we could get a really good take. So we had to do it again the next day.
Filmmaker's worst enemy.
Oh, dude. Yeah. That's the sun. The sun does not care about anybody's film schedule.
No. No, I can't believe. My wife's in the chat right now. She's,
hail Albany.
Yeah. So no, this was again. What a good horse there too. He just waited for you to do your thing.
Just chilling, like, oh,
He's
Yeah.
just like, whatever. I'm a good horse. I'm just gonna, I'm just gonna do that. And I can see that you're controlling him right there to get him to kind of, like, what a good horse, man.
Oh, Gunsmoke he's a great horseman. That's the horse. Like,
I would Gunsmoke.
I would shoot another movie just to ride him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's so powerful. Like the scene where Bill comes galloping across that thing. Like, we did 2 takes of that, and I mean, it was like straddling a locomotive. Like, he was so much power, man. It's like, oh, this horse is ready.
That's awesome.
That scene right there where you take the shot. Every time I see that, I'm just like, oh man, it's just like you feel like you're watching it actually happen. Like, it's brutal. When you were filming that, did you guys have to do a bunch of takes? You're like, crook my neck that one beforehand. You got to stretch out. You're ready for it, or how'd that go?
We did a lot of takes of that. It was actually the head whip wasn't the hard part. It was falling off, because we shot that. So we wanted a one take from the head snap to the slump to the fall, but I don't have any equipment, so there's no mat on the ground. I'm falling on the bare ground. And I did that about, I think I did like 12 takes of that. So I'm like beefing it off the ground every time.
Oh man. I guess that's true. You were headbanging for, 15, 20 years. I guess throwing your head back was a piece of cake. You do that all day. It's the falling part that's tricky.
Yeah.
Falling safely is tricky.
Yeah. And there was a couple of times where I was like, you're trying to break your fall a little bit, and like I'm just trying to land on my arm, so I roll to my shoulder a little bit, so it's not such a smack.
Right.
And there's a couple of times like I reach a little bit too far, so you see my hand come down, like, oh crap, that one can't work, and do it again. And at the same time, because what we were trying to do was catch a long shot from shooter's POV out across that ravine to Bill, and catch the click and then the body fall at the same time. So we actually have 2 units going, like two cameras set up to for dual capture on those. So it's like, so we're like, we got somebody on the radio. Okay, action and shoot, snap, bang, fall. Like trying to coordinate it all.
Yeah.
You muted, Royce.
Sorry, the kiddos were in here a second. Sorry, the kiddos were in here for a second. No, but that means because the sun doesn't care about your time schedule, if you're doing it at the same time, the lighting is going to be the same for everybody. So you're not doing one shot and it's like, okay, then you got to deal with it being a half hour or an hour later to get God knows how far away, to set up again.
Yeah. Yep.
That's freaking cool.
And what it's like the hard part with that too is like on days where there's different, like if you have to do, like anytime we had to do a scene and then shoot the next part of a scene or another part of the scene or like a pickup part of the scene on a different day, like the colors, like you have to fix it in post, fix it in post with the color, because it's never exactly the same.
Yeah.
Color correction, fun stuff.
Yeah. Which I had to learn on the fly.
Sounds like a lot of work.
So with this project, you're like the face of it as far as I've seen in terms of promotion, making the rounds. I'm sure you're not just alone completely, but what exactly in this film, what were all of your roles? Did you do filming and acting and writing? Obviously you're doing editing. I mean, were you doing a little of everything, or?
Yeah, it was a lot.
If you watch the credits and their completion, Jarrod's name pops up a lot.
Yeah.
A bunch of the guys have repeats, but you see his name pop up a ton in the credit line.
Yeah. To the point where it's like I start to feel gross when I start listing it all. Like it's like, ugh. Like I did, like on the.
There I am again.
I guess the shorter list might be what did you not do? I guess it seems like you did everything.
I did not do. Thankfully, I didn't do any of the carpentry. That guy right there, Smiley, the guy, he and Mac did a lot. Did like any of the carpentry we needed, or
Sorry. This is such a good scene.
So Raleigh's horse right there, when we turned to walk, she almost took his head off, like throwing her head back. I mean, it was just like.
I love how you kept it though.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You kept that in there. It's just like, it's just a horse being a horse, and these guys are just used to horses being horses. Which it sounds like you two guys are actually used to that. So
it is fun. Like Raleigh and I, we didn't even catch it because it's just second nature to us until we were watching it back. It was like, and he pointed out, I was like, man, Holly almost took my face off right there. And then there's another scene when right after Smiley pays Bill and Bill rides off, I go I ride Gunsmoke around Holly's hind end, and like you can just see it where she raises her back leg like she's going to kick him.
That would have been a bad day.
And again, it was one of the things we just didn't catch until we were watching it back. It's like, did you see that? She almost kicked him.
Jeez.
That's funny.
But yeah, so that horse on the left that Bill's on is Magnum, and then that horse, the gray horse, is Gunsmoke. So we switched.
Right. That's so. I like that you did. I like that you kind of wrote that in too. You were like, all right, we got to get this guy off of this horse, and because he's gonna die. Well, and especially if you guys are driving cattle too. That's just like, you guys had to be either insane or brilliant. Probably both, to be like, hey, all right, so we're going to get a bunch of people who don't know what they're doing. Like, I don't know what I'm doing when it comes to a cattle drive. I know people who've done it. I've talked with them about it. But I've never done it. There's no way in hell, like, hey, Royce, we're going on a cattle drive. Look, we are. No. Like, I'll be out there. Like, I'll hang out with you guys. Like, that's cool. I am not doing that. You guys had to be insane to get 3 dudes who didn't know what they were doing on a cattle drive to do that, because that could end bad.
Oh, dude, it could end bad. In retrospect, I was sitting there, like, this is like the insurance rep on a film set's like worst nightmare.
Dude, right?
Oh yeah, that would have been terrible. But I mean, credit to those guys. Everyone was super game. It's like, whatever, let's go, let's do it.
All right.
And so we broke for lunch. And we come back out in the field where the cattle have all dispersed. And so you don't see it in any of the shots there, but there's a flat part of the field, which is the bulk of the field where we filmed everything. But there's a rise on the west side of this that's all timber. And it's several acres of just all timber and a couple ravines. And so we break for lunch, we go back out, and then we turn around and we look, where are all the cattle? And the cattle had all gone up the hill into the shade, up under the timbers.
Because they're smart.
And so so not only did they have to cattle drive on film, they actually had to go in and actually push cattle out of, like, legit push the cows back out of the timber into the field in a somewhat coordinated manner, so they didn't bolt and have three herds going everywhere. And like, credit to those guys, man. They did it. They just like, yeah, let's go. And we just rode up in, and Raleigh and I kind of took point, and Janice was there kind of directing. Everybody's like, Silas, you stay there. Weston, go down there. Max, stay there.
That's really freaking cool, man. Ugh.
Sounds like a blast.
Well, it was so much fun.
Dude, that's freaking awesome.
How did you assemble this team? Did you know these guys from the past, or was it put together just for this project? Or
so I've known Weston. Weston's one of the first people I met when we moved up here. So I've known Weston for going on 11 years now. Really good friend of mine. And I like when I had the very first inkling of an idea of this, it's like, I have to at least try to get Weston involved. Like, because like, and he's a musician. Like he's the a ministry pastor at our church, and another musician, and
that's
just
cool.
someone I really get along with, and I really admire and respect. And so, like, I will make a spot. Do you want to be in this? Like, I want you to be in this project on some level, like whatever it is. And like, he's the guy. He's the lead guitar player for Missouri Breaks in the.
Oh, that's legit.
In the Midnight Montgomery video.
Okay.
Yeah, that's Weston, and he's also the Reverend. And then Mac is another guitar player that I know from church, and Silas is a drummer, and Silas is also the drummer in the Midnight Montgomery video. And it's like, hey guys, I got this idea with these songs. You want to do something? And then we met Raleigh in the process of location scouting for the first bit of footage we filmed, trying to find a place we could shoot, and then find a place that would, so someone that would let us use their horses, because I don't have any horses. And so Raleigh and Janice, they own Western Pleasure Guest Ranch, and it's just part of the Dude Ranch Association that out here in the West, and they do weekly retreats, or just guests come to stay on the ranch, come ride the trail ride, do all this kind of cool stuff. And
that's cool.
And come to find out, like, I didn't know this when we started this process, but it was like one of Raleigh's like life dreams to be in a Western. And
awesome.
Because and so
True cowboy.
when this turned the corner from music videos, maybe a short film, to like, hey, we're going to try to do a feature film here. I asked Raleigh, I was like, hey, I would like you to be in this film. Will you be in this film? And if you will, are you willing to like drive these horses down to location to shoot? And he was all in, like 2 thumbs up. He was all in, to the point where like he had some really, really good ideas for the story that actually made it into the film.
Oh, that's cool.
I was like, dude, that's a great idea. Let's do that. and like that's turned out to be an awesome friendship. And like I'm so grateful for this process, just for the friends I've made, more than as much as anything else. It's just like with Raleigh and Robert and just the new people I've got to meet and develop this friendship with. It's been so awesome, man.
Very cool.
Dude.
And what's cool, like a few weeks ago, like Raleigh and Robert and I went down to the ranch and went riding out in the rain, because like Raleigh said, it's like, there's enough rain today that'll keep the tourists out of the woods. So
there you go.
So the three of us went for a trail ride in the rain, and it was just a blast, man.
Oh, dude, I bet that just, cleared out the gutter, cleared the gutters, cleaned the pipes, whatever you want to call it. I bet that was refreshing.
It was, man. It was so nice.
Dude, just get it clear. Just clear your head, kind of get away from all of it for a few.
Yep.
Oh, that's really quickly. So JVP asked this question. He's like, if you get to questions, I have one. Jarrod, what's your refining process for bringing all these pieces together? Acting, cinematography, score, writing, scene direction. What's your process for bringing all of that together?
For me, again, speaking just for me, like it starts with having a clear vision of what I want. If I have a clear vision of what I want, I know what I want it to look like, I know what I want it to sound like, and I know what I want it to feel like. Then I may not know how to do it the most efficient way or the most practical way, but I know what I got to do to get there. And so, and it's kind of like, it's the way I write too, even with music. Like when I'm writing music, I see it. I don't hear it as much as see it. And so when I'm writing a song, do
you see the story for the song in your head?
Yes.
I do the same thing.
Yep. So that's how I write.
Yep.
And so like it's I don't know. It may be just like a byproduct of how I grew up. It's like I see things cinematically. Because like so when we were growing up, like we were dirt poor. Like we didn't have, and it was like back in the early 80s. So you had like 3 channels on a cloudless day, and so like we didn't have cable, we didn't have really good TV. But Dad's a pastor, and someone gave Dad like this Pioneer 4-head VCR. And so we didn't have TV, but what we had, you could rent movies for cheap, and we buy movies occasionally. So VCRs or VHS tapes.
Yeah.
So I grew up watching film over and over and over and over again. Like I watch the same movies over, and if it's a good movie, I just watch it over and over again. And I think that's kind of what shaped how I see things creatively, because it's always through this kind of cinematic lens. I just never thought I would be doing film. And so when I'm writing, it's the same thing. Like I write, it's essentially what I'm doing when I write is I'm putting what I see in my head, the picture I see in my head, in words on the paper.
Yep.
And like, I don't know if it's like that for everybody, but that's my process. And then, when I get it done, I get a draft of it. Either it's either it's the first draft of the song, the first draft of the screenplay or whatever. And then I just start whittling away the pieces that don't line up with what I want out of it at the end. And,
well, and the thing is too, is especially, it sounds like you kind of had to, I mean, part of the process was like capturing a lot of stuff that you probably didn't necessarily need, but you don't know if you need it type situation.
Right. Yeah.
Is that fair?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
There's a couple days of shooting, that didn't even make it into the film.
Days?
Not like days, but I mean, sorry.
Sorry.
Let me clarify that, because like everybody on this film has a full-time job, and everybody worked for free. So we were always working around somebody's work schedule, like everybody's work schedule. Yeah. So it's like when I say days, it's like, hey, we have 4 hours on Thursday evening. Let's go do that before the sun goes down.
Gotcha.
And so like,
okay.
There were a couple of those that never even made it into the film.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a couple of shoots that just
Yeah.
Wow. That's wild. How many hours do you think just didn't even make it? Not even on the cutting room floor, just straight up, no, we're not using that. We can't use that.
Oh, that's a great question. Because there's like some things were like in 3 takes we got it, and then other things it's like this is the 8th take and we have to get it right now because we have no more light. And so I think it'd probably be a lot if you start adding all those unused takes up. It's probably a lot.
Damn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I haven't been brave enough to go back and try to tabulate that yet.
that would
It's-
take some bravery.
I think that's pretty common, even on whether it's a small scale or big scale. There's just going to be a lot of footage because, like you're saying, you just film it, and it's like I don't know if we'll need it or not. But I think it's common for a lot of that stuff to
Yeah.
just be left to the side and to the tune of dozens of hours or even more in some cases.
Yeah, and this whole thing went through two major metamorphoses. So, the first it started with the song, with the music. So it was just going to be, I wrote those songs. It's like, man, I've been trying to write these songs my whole life, and I want to do something with this. And so it just felt like, let's do 3 music videos, and it has to be a Western. They have to be a Western video. Like this music just fits that. So let's do these 3 Western music videos. And then I fleshed it out a little bit more. It's like, okay, we can do 3 music videos and we can have them tell one narrative and just be three parts of a whole. So we start doing that. We start filming. So we get a good chunk of footage from 2,000 Miles to Memphis filmed early, and then realized it's like, man, if we were to do a little bit of interstitial footage, we can actually make a music-centric short film out of this, with a little bit between these films, a little bit between the videos, each video, but it's still one thing. So we started filming a little bit more, and then it's like, we can do a feature film here. There's a whole story if we want to pursue it. Let's chase this rabbit and see where it goes.
So you didn't wait. So you didn't start off by doing the feature film?
No, this was supposed to be three consecutive music videos played back to back for one narrative, and then it turned into a film.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I started with 3 video treatments that I then pulled those into the full screenplay in the script. So so what I'm going to do with it, like I already have the next video edited together, and now I'm going to put all of them together in the original short film idea, and have that as its own, like the Ballad of Missouri Bill short.
That's freaking cool.
Thanks, man.
I didn't know
that.
I didn't know that that's how it started. That's wild to see that this is what it turned into.
Yeah.
I know, right? To this day, I'm sure he'll deny it, but it was Weston's idea to make this a feature film.
Well, thanks, Weston.
Yeah, thank you, Weston.
Yeah.
That's really cool, man. What a wild journey. Just,
Yeah.
and then how long was the whole process, like start to finish till,
Filming, because the music was a full year before.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
So for specifically filming was about 18 months.
Oh, wow.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, so
And
you
that's-
guys really worked around everybody's schedules then.
Yeah. Well, and there was but like in that 18-month period, it's like, that's when we also realized we went from 3 music videos to a short film to a feature film. So there's like some pretty substantial gaps between shooting. Well, actually, there's a full year between the first shoot days and the second shoot days. Like the first set of shoot days was like, we started our very first shoot was July 6th, 2022. We did another one on the 14th, July 14th. And then we had, then we shot the church scene and one of the campfire scenes in August of that year. And then we didn't film anything until July of the next year. So there's an 11-month gap in the filming. And then we did that a little bit in July, and then we didn't film again until October. And then in October, we did those 4 days down in southern Idaho. Then we came back, filmed one other day in October, 2 days in November, and then 2 days in December. And then that was 23, and then we filmed again in February 15th of 24, and that was like the last bit of shooting we did.
So during that 11-month gap, what, like, mentally were you like, oh man, I can't wait to get back at it? Or were you like, oh, what are we doing? This isn't going to happen. Like, cause it's such a huge gap. The's gotta be,
Oh dude, I was
emotions
dying.
there, right?
I was dying. It's like, cause it's like yeah. Because like I believed in the project enough to feel the pressure of needing to finish it.
Yeah.
And like having to take that 11-month hiatus, it killed me. It was like I was in my head a lot during that time.
And I bet you have something tangible at that point. Like, you filmed it and you can see the vision coming together, and then you just have this break.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
yeah.
man,
And
it's
like
brutal.
we had had enough there to where like I had that's in that time is when I put together like the first 3 trailers for the 3 songs for that. And luckily, like thankfully we in that amount of time though, we did film the Midnight Montgomery video. And so I had that, because that was always kind of a just a bonus to this whole project, was that Midnight Montgomery cover. And so I had that to kind of keep me fueled creatively and to give me something to work towards.
Gotcha.
But man, if I hadn't had that, I would have been a mess. I would have been a mess.
That's wild.
That's tough.
I can't. What was the cause of the 11 months?
A lot of it was just like schedule, focus, and will. It's like because I didn't want to be like, I didn't want to be a ramrod, I didn't want to like force stuff. From the beginning, like setting up the LLC, setting up Rising Tide,
Right.
I wanted this to be a team. I wanted this to be like a team thing. We're doing this together. This is the goal. This is where we're going. And like, I wanted to be the voice of like direction or vision. And, but I didn't want to be captain and navigator, and I just had to be, though. Like, like for it to be done, that's what I knew I had to do. And I think a lot of that is just I needed to grow up and like take the reins, like not be afraid to take the reins, because like the last thing I want to do, like it's like a fear, it's like a phobia of mine to be that asshole that's always just like pressuring everybody to get it done. Like, do your stuff, do your thing. Like, just, I don't want to be that. Like, I am enough of that for myself. I don't want to put that on other people. And I've done that. Like, I've experienced that in Corpus Christi. Like the first record with Corpus Christi, I had to be probably a miserable person to be around. I didn't know it at the time. But I think the reason that first lineup in Corpus Christi didn't last was largely my responsibility, because like I just pushed. It was like, this is the job. This is what we have to do. Get your shit together and let's go. And like, and like, just,
there's a lot of people that as soon as they meet that, they bounce. They're done.
I just didn't have any tact or grace about it, No. and so yeah, so I'm sure I was
my struggle.
Dude, that's the thing too, is there's kind of like a way to say it, and that's a big thing.
Oh yeah.
And I don't have time for that.
No, it's not about time. You could say, the funny thing is figuring out how to say something to motivate somebody is takes the same amount of time as saying something to somebody to drag them along.
Yeah.
It's just, it really is really is about reading people and being like, all right, I don't want to drag them along. I want them along on this. And I know that they're at their best if they're having a good time or whatever. But like you said, you've got to have the reins in your hand, and so, I mean, for me in the past, it was like, hey guys, I got all this stuff set up. It's like, it's already planned out, set up, ready to go. Like, we could do it. And they're, oh yeah, cool. It's like, as long as like they didn't have like a crap ton of stuff to do, and that's just kind of how I got people to do it.
Yeah.
Or you just kind of lift a lot of that burden onto yourself.
Yeah.
You know, and or figure out, be like, no, dude, like you could totally do this thing, man. And it's like, yeah, if you got any questions, just give me a shout. And you just like amp them up to a point where they do something, and they get a task done that like you're like, oh, thank God they got it done. Like there's a way to do it, and it's but when you don't have that, when you don't have a reference for that, it's a nightmare.
Yeah. Yeah. And with this, what I've tried to do is just like, I know what I have to take responsibility for to get this project through, to get it over the finish line, to get it done. And I'm going to do it and leave the door open. Like, if you want to help, you want to hang out, you want to be involved, awesome, man. The door's open. Come on in. Don't even knock. Just come on in. Mm-hmm. And if you can't, or you don't want to be, that's fine too. Like, I'm not gonna like badger you or hold it against you. Or we're still friends. We're still gonna hang out. Like, and that's been the difference, I think, in the approach, which is why like I love Max from Corpus Christi, like because he has seen me and put up with me at probably my worst, and is still my friend, and still wants to and like still wants to do something creative together with me. And it's like, I will make up something in whatever I'm doing just so Max can have a part of it, because like he's like, I don't know, it's just like he's my spirit animal. Like, he was a friend to me when like I didn't have a lot of friends, and so like I just love that guy, man.
Yeah, and you guys go way back at this point too.
Yeah,
that's 2 decades or so, right?
Yeah. So if we end up shooting the that crime thriller, if that's the next film we do, Max is going to have a pretty good role in that one.
That's freaking cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Why crime thriller, not another Western?
I don't know. It's like it's a bug in my head that is like just like pecking at me, and I don't know. But part of it, like I know where the next chapter of Missouri Bill goes if we get to do it. If we get to do another chapter of Missouri Bill, right. And again, a lot of that depends on where that ends up in distribution and like what comes after that. And if that doesn't go anywhere, my mind was just like, okay, what kind of story can I film for no money again, but still make a good film and still tell a compelling story? And so, where I live is like perfect for kind of like a small town crime thriller.
Yeah, that could be
and
cool.
Like I can shoot it. I can shoot it on a shoestring budget again if I have to. I can have local help to do it, and I'll probably have to hire a couple actors for it, because there's a couple roles that people will need to stretch on, and the story is just like it's like Tourette's in the back of my mind, just like.
Mm-hmm.
And are you planning on doing music to go with the next film as well? Is that the vision, or?
Yes, but not in the narrative sense. Like, I'll score it. I'll do an original score for it, but I'm not going to write songs to help tell the story for this one.
Okay.
At least I don't think I am. that could change. That could
At
change
least-
between now and
yeah.
then.
Right.
Yeah, right.
It'll be the reverse. It'll be you'll start with the movie, and then you're like, now we need the songs. Instead of the songs in the movie, right?
That would be funny. That would be funny. It's like, well, I didn't think I was going to write a full length LP for this.
But yeah, Royce is going to play the bartender in that one.
Oh God. I thought that was a joke.
Sitting there,
Nope.
drying off glasses.
No, dude, I think
Always
it's a
drying
great
off glasses.
idea. I think it's a great idea, and like, yeah, it's going to be good, man. It's going to be good.
Wait, what kind of bar? Is it a dive bar or is it like a classy bar? or
Just
is
say
it like
yes, man. Just be like, I'm there.
It's
You
going to
got
be
it.
a dive bar.
Okay,
Yeah.
way better.
A dive
Wait a
bar, like your owner operator, towel over the shoulder. Get out of
Yeah.
my bar.
Flannel shirt.
Yeah,
Flannel
oh, yeah.
shirt. I got it.
Yep.
I grow the hair out
I
for
can
that
see
one.
it.
That could be cool.
Yeah, dude.
Grow
Yeah.
the hair out for that one. Yeah. Yeah. That could be. I mean, if you're gonna do it, man, yeah, let me know. Let me know. Like,
Yeah.
we'll see about travel arrangements and all that. See if we can't get.
Oh, dude, I was already like, I have like 3 pages of character workup for that one that I've been working on. And
Oh,
like,
shit.
yeah, your character, the bartender, is a retired Army Ranger who
Oh,
opened a
shit.
bar in a small town, and like, and it's like, so you get a lot of like, it's a bar where like
I'm gonna
men
have
go
to
to hang
bulk
out.
up for that. I'm gonna
Royce is
have
gonna
to
be fighting
bulk
people.
up for that. A retired. I've met Army Rangers before. Those are some stout boys.
My buddy Sham in the chat is former Army Ranger, and yeah, he's a beast of a man.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Might have to talk with him for a while. Be like, all right, how do I sound like I'm not an idiot? I sound like that normally. Make me sound like a ranger.
What in my experience, if you're going to play a Ranger, you just got to be crazy.
You just got it right.
You gotta be crazy. Let's go.
Oh man, that's gonna be funny.
So Royce just has to dial it up a little bit more.
Yeah,
and he's
dial it
good.
up.
Right? Yeah. Just
Yeah.
wow. I actually have to dial my
10%.
personality up. That's wild. That's the first
Yep.
time I've been told that. Welcome to my bar. What do you want? Whiskey or whiskey?
I'll have the whiskey.
I want the whiskey.
That's right, Dish. You will.
So,
Good answer.
right. Can I get a Mai Tai? What do you? Oh, can't say that word.
Get
on
out of my
YouTube.
bar.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll just pull a Willem Dafoe. You fairy fuck. Sorry. Oh God. Oh shit.
man.
I'm gonna have to bulk up for that. That's interesting. I was like, oh yeah, no, bartender, whatever. I was not thinking Army Ranger bartender. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get you a sidearm to carry, open carry at the bar.
Right.
Alternatively, if you don't want to bulk up, you get like one of the muscle suits.
No, it'll give me an excuse. I've been looking for an excuse to start working out anyway, and I'm like, hey, so I got to tell my wife now. I'll be like, so, he wants
Oh
me to be
yeah,
a
like she's gonna
bartender?
complain.
Yeah.
She won't. She misses me when I had that body. So, dude, that'll be fun. That would be really, really fun. We'll get it all planned out and everything. And I mean, when are you even starting on that one? Or that's I'm assuming that's down the road. That's
Probably a year, another
Okay.
year. Because like in my mind, that's like an autumn, early winter story.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now,
Okay,
if
Plus
somebody-
Plus, we got to do all the back end work, like write the script.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're gonna work on the script too, huh, Daniel?
Yeah, man.
As long as Jared's up for it, I'm
Heck
down.
yeah, dude.
That's freaking cool.
Between that, I got to keep pestering him about his novel too.
Yeah, I've been hearing about this elusive novel for
Literally, after I finished my pass over everything and kicked it back to him, he's like, yeah, I'll get to work on it in a little bit. I just got to work on some of this filming for the movie and stuff. And it's been like a full year since that happened, since that conversation. Yeah, I was like, oh, okay, it's gonna be like 3 months maybe or so. No, it's been a year.
Yeah. Yeah. You'll be proud of me though, Daniel. I've actually worked on chapter 17 twice this week.
Hey, nice.
Yeah.
Now, is it too early to give us a taste of anything about this book? Are we keeping it all under
Other
wraps?
than it's
or-
awesome.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that, Daniel. Thank you. It is. Would you say it's like epic fantasy, classic fantasy?
Oh, nice.
It is very much a classic fantasy epic. He's got some unique elements to it that you don't see in a lot of the classic fantasy stuff, but the way that it's written and the way the narrative plays out, it feels like a classic fantasy epic. You're gonna get caught up in multiple character arcs that all run across each other. I mean, for this first book, they don't technically come together in some parts, but they're going to run across each other so much that it feels like a breathing world that you're reading about.
Very cool.
Yeah, thanks, man. It's what's funny is somebody actually asked me the other day. We were just in a meeting, and somebody asked one of the questions in this meeting was like, "What are you most proud of? What have you done that you're most proud of?" And it's like, oddly enough, the thing I'm the most proud of is the thing I have yet to release is that novel.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, it's I wish I could tell you more about it. Like it's a beast. It's 390,000 words. And
Big book.
it's the first of at least 3.
Oh, wow.
I think I can do it in 3. I'm not going to go any more than 4 with it. I'm not going to pull a germ. But it's
Germ.
Germ.
It's definitely it's not a nihilist grim derp like fantasy novel.
Thank God.
Yeah.
It's not.
No, it's like
so much.
Yeah, dude, it's so overplayed. It's like a hero good versus evil, like
Nice.
traditional story. I just, I added enough of me in it, I think, to kind of to give it something new, to give it something fresh.
Grimdark is like reverse therapy. It's like if you're perfectly healthy in your life, you read Grimdark to be less healthy in your life. And it's reverse therapy. Tell me I'm wrong.
You're right. You're not wrong.
Sorry. I don't like Grimdark.
Neither do I.
There might have been a story or two where I was like, oh, this is, because every genre has its gems.
Yeah,
Sure.
But for the most part, Grimdark stuff, I'm just like, why does it feel like I need to take a shower for something I'm never going to scrub off after
Right?
watching that?
It's like, I don't feel good. I do not feel good about being a human being after reading this. Ugh.
No.
That's the ultimate issue with the genre is the lack of contrast.
Yeah.
It's flat. In what you always look for is the black and the white, and then you see the gray in between. With Grimdark, it's just gray and black.
Yeah.
Oh, you thought it was dark now? Well, it's about to get darker, motherfucker. Wait, what?
Oh, boy.
Mhm.
Oh, joy.
Yeah.
And here
Like that meme.
Right.
Don't worry, friend. It's gonna get way worse.
And that's not to say there's nothing dark in my book. Like chapter 10, like I am very apprehensive for a lot of people I know to read chapter 10 because like chapter 10 goes hard in the paint, and there's some
brutal stuff in that story.
After I wrote chapter 10, like I was like physically off for like 2 days. Like I just
Been there.
Just like it was just so gnarly and necessary for where those characters are going to go later on in the story.
Okay, so this doesn't sound like an all ages book then, huh?
No.
But
no.
Again,
but I mean,
moments like that are necessary for storytelling. They tend to be like the linchpin moments, right?
Mm-hmm.
The really bad thing that happens that shores everybody up. That okay, this is definitely the quest we're on. And now it's not just this epic grand adventure of duty. now we actually have to do it for our friend or whoever that may have passed on. I'm not sure how you're doing it, but I think of the Gandalf scene, right? Think of the Boromir scene, you know? And shit, those were the same movie. The books, I think they were different. I think Boromir died in the beginning of Two Towers in the books, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was, yeah. So they were different books, but in the movies though, but two powerful scenes. Those were the linchpin moments. I'm sorry, Boromir taking 4 arrows to the torso. That's a pretty dark scene.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's kind of rough, but it's necessary for this. Yeah, it's exactly it. It's a look at everything they're sacrificing to do this thing. Because up to Gandalf and Boromir, it was like, okay, there's kind of some sacrifice, but not really. But now
more than that, it was the pretense of war.
Yeah.
In as far as the whole story goes, Fellowship was bringing it all together and sort of we're trying to prevent the war from occurring, and Boromir's death in the Two Towers sets the tone that there's no stopping the war at this point.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It was almost like the first shot across the bow, only instead of across the bow, it was straight into the man's chest.
Dude, right?
That was such a hard fucking scene, dude.
Dude.
I wanted to be like, I'm going to be honest, when I was a little kid watching that, I was like, I want to be Boromir so bad. That guy's a badass. Like, I mean, I'd want to be a lot less dead than he is, but I also want to be Boromir because that's that stand, right? That's the final stand.
Yeah.
That is...
That touches male readers a lot because it's one of those things that at some point in our lives we all think about taking that stand moment, hell or high water.
Yeah, yeah. And the thing is, the beautiful part about him is like that's especially
after the temptation. Now that I'm thinking about it,
it's the beauty in his tragedies because like his arc is complete. And his redemption is sealed with his death.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, oh, dude, it's just gut wrenching. Like that scene, like it's great in the book, but watching Viggo Mortensen and Sean Bean play that scene out is to this day, man, gets me. He's like, whoa.
Right,
and now you know why Sean Bean was picked for that.
Oh, dude.
If you're gonna have a noble death on film, it's got to be from the dying man himself.
Yeah, right. He's real good at it. You got to call him the pro,
dude. That's such a those movies. I had somebody try to argue with me that, and I don't know. I think that there are people. A lot of people think that Theoden's speech right before the Ride of the Rohirrim, they're like, no, that's the best speech of those movies. I'm like, no, I'm sorry. Aragorn right before they storm the gates of Mordor at the very end.
The Black Gates.
I'm like that's the speech. Scene. Yeah, the Black Gates. I'm like that's the speech of those movies. I mean, don't get me wrong. Theoden's is really good, but I'm like you're high. You're high if you think that that's a better speech than what Aragorn says before. And just the way that Viggo Mortensen delivered that line. It's so good. I see in you the same fear that would steal the heart of me. And you're just like, oh, shit, this man's...
Yeah.
Damn.
I bid you stand, men of the West.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Whoa, yes.
You're just like, yes. Oh, dude, it's so good. God, Tolkien was a great... And obviously... And Peter Jackson, I will say this, because those are not perfectly faithful. They're almost not faithful to the books in a large sense. But... the reverence that Peter Jackson had to, I guess, a lot of the themes, because that's what Jackson always referenced, the themes. Yeah. What's that core, that feeling that Tolkien wanted to, and I think, because there's no way you can't take the Lord of the Rings and turn it into, I don't even think you'd turn it into a TV show. You can't do it. It's not possible.
No.
It's not.
Jackson did it as good as anyone ever will.
Oh, I agree. I agree.
I will debate that slightly only because of the Rankin Bass animated films.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. that was
those
the gateway
were
drug for me, man.
those were much closer in interpretation, but the sheer scope of Jackson's live action interpretation, they're pretty much on par with each other.
Okay.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
I could see that. Yeah. Well, and I think a lot of people still consider that trilogy the best, probably the best ever put to film.
Yeah.
I don't think it's really in question at this point.
It is in my book. Like Fellowship of the Ring. Fellowship of the Ring is my favorite movie of all time. Like that's definitely my favorite trilogy is Lord of the Rings, but Fellowship is my favorite film ever.
I go Return of the King, but I'm right there with you.
Yeah, yeah. And what's the beautiful part of it is like my son is he's old enough now that I'm starting to introduce him to Tolkien, and so we started earlier a few months ago with the Rankin Bass Hobbit because that's what I started with, and so we finished Fellowship of the Ring, and then last night we finished Two Towers for his first time. So it's the first time, and it's the extended Blu-ray. Like
that's my favorite.
We're watching the extended versions, the real versions.
Yes.
And like he's just so into it, and it's just like yes, attaboy.
Like the Two Towers. My favorite line in that entire movie is when Aragorn and Legolas are arguing.
Then I shall die
as one of them. Yep. Oh man. Yeah. God, that's such a good. Oh.
You want to know something funny about that scene? And I've never heard this mentioned in any of the appendices or any film critique online. But there's a massive continuity error in that scene.
No, stop it. Stop.
Yes.
Stop.
It's so subtle. It doesn't
No.
ruin anything. It's super subtle. Well, it's subtle, but it's huge when you put it in context with Legolas in all three films and then in the Hobbit films. Because in all scene, Legolas has bright blue eyes, but when he's arguing with Aragorn, they didn't have his contacts in and his brown eyes.
Yep.
Okay, that doesn't bother me as badly.
No, nothing. It doesn't ruin anything, but it's like his eyes are brown. They're not supposed to be brown.
That seems like a pretty big thing. Like these guys backstage, like looking like they're filming. He's got the context, like
I mean, but that is a thing. That is a thing where when they're in post, they're like, we're not getting this scene again, because their filming process was like months and months and months, and so it was like I think it was 18 months solid of filming for the three movies back to back to back, and then they had the press junkets in the middle.
Yeah,
like as the movies were coming out, and then
they went back to shoot pickups after that.
Oh shit, did they really?
Yeah.
Oh fuck, dude, that's fucking wild. Can you imagine like being like, all right, we have to get the set back up. We have to get everybody back in there. We've got to get all the extras back in there, and just so we can get blue contacts in.
Yeah.
If I were Peter Jackson, I'm like, fuck it, just roll with it. Like it's.
I'm sure someone else has noticed this and talked about it. I've just never heard it, but I noticed it. I noticed it this year when I rewatched him by myself before Theron and I watched him. It's like I got to make sure I'm trying to be a responsible dad by not introducing him to too much all at once. And so when I was watching it by myself, I was like, oh, his eyes are brown.
That's such a good scene, though. God, I love that scene.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just powerful, man. And here's the thing: is you could agree with both of those guys.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Legolas is a little out of turn in that one, but is he wrong? I don't know. But I think Aragorn takes the side of the hopeful person in that. God, it's so good. Oh,
yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. We were talking about your movie, and then we started talking about the Lord of the Rings, and then
I love talking about Lord of the Rings. What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? He's like, we do this all night. It's so good. And so so one thing that I wanted to ask, there is, and maybe this is just a quintessential like Western scene, and it's kind of like the last ride of the old gunslinger, right? The last ride of the gunslinger type thing. But that there is a scene, and as soon as I saw it, I was like, Tombstone, where he goes back and he gets his old gear, right?
Mm-hmm.
He gets, was that put in there because it's like you've seen it in other films, or was it just like, no, it's like no, it just answered my own question. Damn it, never mind. But I don't want to give too much away because I know what the story's about. Never mind. I answered my question.
So I'll give you like the broad answer for that is the key, the chest, and the reverend are like, if you think about them in their own element, just as you see them on screen, they work in the film.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, those are all metaphor devices because they represent Bill returning to truth.
Correct.
Because like it's a path that he was on and knew, like, so, you know, if you subscribe to the idea that we're all born with a nature, like there's nature versus nurture. I believe both are influential in making a person a person.
Yes.
Bill starts out on a path knowing what his truth is, or knowing what truth is and knowing what his purpose is, and then deviates from it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the church scene where he goes back to get the trunk and put all the gear back on is his return to truth. He's accepted. I have to be in truth, and I have to live in my purpose, or it costs, the cost of not doing it is more than I can bear.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That makes sense. Okay. Yeah. And it's
classically, it's the concept of compromise.
Yeah.
That when you walk away or compromise your values, the first thing that most people do psychologically is, one, put it in a box, compartmentalize. Then it's contained over here where it can only be accessed when necessary. That's the trunk. Then the second thing, as slow degradation of the psyche from that compromise, is to bury it, stop thinking about it, make it go away, never reference it again.
Yep.
So the sequence of those scenes when he's returning to truth is, first he unburies the key and then goes to open the trunk.
I mean, think about it. Tombstone, obviously, Wyatt Earp opening the drawer and getting his long Colt out. John Wick.
It's all very
John
common.
Wick, John Wick breaking the concrete floor. It is men.
Yeah, and that he literally buried his past.
He literally buried. Yeah, and so it's just such an interesting. And like I said, I saw that, and I obviously thought it was Tombstone right away. Didn't even think of the John Wick thing until you said buried till just now. But it's such a thing as it's like these men put away a part of their lives before that part of their life is done with them.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I've always read that scene.
A lot of the time you see it in response to traumatic moments of their past.
Yes.
That they have to walk away from what they know they should be doing because at the time it's too hard to bear, so it's put away. That's the compartmentalization.
Yeah.
And so for Bill, where we meet Bill in the story, like he's coming off the back of the war, which is super traumatic for him.
Mm-hmm.
And part of the reason why it was so traumatic for him is because like he finished out his days in the war with Shooter in his command. So like, and Shooter had to be on a tight leash the whole time. So there's all this added stress to it, everything. Then after the war, he's in Memphis for a while, and then all of his friends are killed in an ambush in Memphis. And so like he has all of this trauma built up from losing friends. And what I was trying to do with the film is make a film that you could watch on its face, just on the face value, and like be engaged with it and hopefully be entertained and enjoy it. And if you wanted to like get your pickaxe mine down under the surface.
Oh, dude, I was.
I tried to pack as much. I put a lot of metaphor in there, like the wardrobe. Every wardrobe choice was on purpose. Every position in a frame, like angles. I did as much as I could with as much intention as I had time to put into it for people that wanted to like really dig into the film. So for instance, like the difference in wardrobe between like Shooter, Carson, Silas, Bill, and Smiley, it's all indicative of like their different personalities and their influence on not just Bill as a character, but also Bill as a concept beyond the story.
I mean, look at the four of us just sitting here on screen. I mean, we're all wearing very, very different stuff, you know? And that's, I mean, if you just put them all in the exact same outfit, you know, you wouldn't have gotten that same, you know, because people do wear different clothes, that's just a realistic act. But I caught that when you did the movie, and that was just something I was like, oh, cool. He just made them all dressed the same. I didn't realize you did it that intentionally.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So if you ever notice, like with Shooter, like we intentionally, Shooter's clothes are never dirty. Shooter's clothes are never dirty. His hat is always tilted and he wears those wrist cuffs with the big silver conchos because his appearance, like he has to have this and it's like, it's why Shooter is the analog for addiction, because an addict like Shooter, he has to maintain an outward appearance to hide the addiction inside, to hide what's inside.
Correct.
And so Shooter is always clean. And so the only time, and it's real subtle, if you watch the film again, you'll see it, but it's like the only time that you see where you see his facade start to break is on the wrist cuffs, where in the beginning of the film, when you see him, they're all bound up and neat, but as the film goes on, the lashes get looser and looser and dangling because he's unraveling.
I noticed that.
Yeah. And then with Bill, let's start with Smiley though. So Smiley represents that that ideal. That's a man who has faced his demons, confronted his inner shadow, his inner person, and then come out a fully realized human being on the other side of it. So he wears the black because I wanted the good guys to wear. I wanted the people to wear black because it's a serious business to confront your shadow. Like in the Jungian sense, like it's a serious thing to confront that shadow. And so that black is a serious, somber color. And so Smiley wears the black coat and the red bandana, but his is faded and Bill's is bright because Smiley's already bled. He's already bled for his demons and come out the other side. Wears the black hat, wears the black coat, and he has found his niche and he's living in his purpose and he's a successful person. Bill's abandoned that, has to come back to that. So Bill's still bleeding. So Bill's is that really vibrant red silk because Bill is still bleeding to bleeding in the process of coming back to his purpose. And then Silas's character is like, he's wearing brown and green and purple, and because like he doesn't know what he is yet. He's just a kid who thinks this is what you do, and he's just like, he's trying to figure it out. And so Silas represents that like innocent person who hasn't been corrupted yet, and you don't know where he's going to be, which is why Bill gives him a black hat.
Yep. I was just about to say that.
Yeah.
That was the representation.
Yeah. So it's like, so it's like, it just depends on how nerdy you want to get with the movie. Like you can look at the lighting choices and the wardrobe choices, and you can find, if you want to look for it, if anybody was interested, you can look for all that metaphor, or you can just put it on and eat popcorn and hopefully watch it and be entertained. And I that's what I was trying to do anyway.
Yeah, my first pass of the film, I was just watching it with not looking for any real deeper meaning and symbolism. I was just like, oh, cowboy movie, all right. And then the second watch through, once it was made aware of some of the themes, I'm like, oh, whoa, that's why oh man, like there's so many more layers to it than I had initially thought. And it makes it, I'm like, I need to watch it again now, because now I know even more. And I'm like, there's certain things I sort of picked up on. I'm like, I think this represents this, but now hearing it, I'm like, that is absolutely what that is. Now I'm like, I need to watch it again, because now the picture's, taking a fuller form, so it'll be more
That's cool,
enjoyable
man.
even
Good.
next time.
Good.
Yeah.
Dude, it's an incredible first film.
Thank you.
I cannot tell you how surprised I was. Again, it was one of those. It's like, well, the shots looked good, the music videos looked good. Please don't suck. Please don't suck. And then we got into it. I was like, we're like 5 minutes in. It's like, this doesn't suck.
Mhm.
And then we kept going. I was like, this really doesn't suck. And then we hit my favorite scene in the movie. I was like, all right, it's just flat out, like really good at this point. Like, I hit that scene and I was just, I'm like literally sitting here, like, because I had my camera off. I was like doing this. I was like, oh. You guys have never seen me think with my hands before. That's a wild ride.
Whole new
man.
experience.
It's a whole new experience. But Jarrod, where can we find you and what do you do, man?
You can find me on Instagram at Jarrod or at We Are Missouri Breaks, YouTube at We Are Missouri Breaks, Twitter at Jarrod Christman, and that's pretty much it. That's all my socials. I've got we just put out the video for Will You Stand last week, or was it last week or 2 weeks ago?
Last week.
So yeah, and then I already have the next video cut and ready to go in the bag and a trailer for that, and so probably release that January, I think. So that one's ready to go, but that's me.
It's awesome, man, dude. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us tonight, dude.
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you. This has been so much fun, dude. I love this, man. This is great.
Dude.
One thing I do want to say though, real quick, because I don't think I actually told you this myself, but after working on your novel, when you first sent the movie to me after we talked about it and all of that, my initial response to it, Royce, his expectations were on the floor. Mine were not. They were much higher because I knew your storytelling capability from working on your novel. So my thought was, if his filmmaking is anything near his narrative capability, this is going to be awesome. And it absolutely met my expectation.
Dude, that's like the best compliment, dude. I really appreciate that, man. It's been so wild, like in the like these film festivals, to like see the films that we're up against, and then like and then like people find out we did this film for so little money and nobody was paid and everybody worked for free. And people were just like, they're mind blown. Like, and so like, I like whatever happens with the film, for people to say that's a good story. I like this. That's the highest compliment, man. That means the world to me, man.
Dude, you killed it, man.
Oh, it was fun, dude. We should watch the outtakes to close the show.
Do you have them?
They're in the credits.
Oh, they're in the credits?
Yeah.
Right, I will pull those up. Avily Music, what do you do? Where can we find you?
My name is Justin, but I make rock and heavy metal music under the band name Avily. You can find my music on all streaming platforms, from Apple Music to Spotify, all that stuff, as well as Bandcamp. Several albums up there and more music on the way. I also co-host the Iron Seas podcast Tuesday nights with Mr. Bat Sauce. Yeah, thanks, man. I'm glad you like the show.
So good. I love this show.
Thanks. Ultimate Kahuna, AC Pritchard. We watch and discuss film. We talk about storytelling and writing. We have guests on to promote their stuff, and we just have a good time. This Tuesday, we got Miss Kitty from Flip City Magazine is going to be hanging out with us, so that should be fun. With that, a million thanks to our awesome guests. Hail to the chat.
Mr. Daniel P. Riley, what do you do? Where can we find you?
I am Daniel P. Riley of the currently defunct whimsyland.org. I swear it'll be back. It's just going to take some time. You can reach me on Twix at Mr. DP Riley and DM me there. My DMs are open. If you would like help with editing your creations, helping develop them, I coach writers all the time and help everyone make the best thing that they can create. For the time being, though. Oh, thank you. For the time being, though, buy some stuff because I need money. The website rebuild it's expensive. I'm not going to go in any detail, but GSIBooks.com right now is the hub for all GSI things. I have the comics up there via Fund My Comic. I have the novels themselves and the audiobooks for both book 1 and book 2. You can find them all on that one website.
Awesome, man. And with that being said, we are going to let the credits take us out.
Outtakes time.
I want to see all of the outtakes.
Full blooper reel.
Full blooper reel. There's
there's some good ones.
10 minutes of a blooper reel. There's like a lot of Jarrod Christman on that one.
Yep. So I said, man.
Did you have to learn how to do credits properly?
Yep.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it was a pain in the butt too, dude.
Ugh. It was so good. Everybody just looks like you guys are having such a great time.
It was, dude. It was so much fun.
Oh, there's the Lowe's truck in the background.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's so good. Oh, I love it.
That's the field where Weston got rolled. Right there.
Oh, no shit. That's great. I saw that and I was like, man, that horse is just not having it.
That's Rocket right there.
That's Rocket?
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah.
Rocket's like, I'm going to make you do what I want you to.
Take me somewhere fun.
You gotta be kidding me.
Jeez.
I forgot the concho.
Oh, no.
It's a super pro set dressing right here. The funny thing is, they didn't realize we were shooting on the other side of the building. They did all this for nothing.
Oh, I like this.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So good.
Alright, loading up the guns.
Oh, we're still.
Weston and I can't hardly keep a straight face at all.
That's funny.
Silas, you don't laugh.
Silas, you don't laugh?
Better let me.
Well, how I know your name doesn't really matter right now.
He's so cool.
I totally forgot.
Start with that.
Oh, he said that.
I love that. He's out there keeping his feet warm, dude. He seemed like a cool dude in the videos when you guys were going to the film festivals.
Mm-hmm.
Where was this?
This was in Raleigh's. He has an indoor riding arena, and we built this soundstage in the back of it.
That's
Nice.
That's pretty.
Oh, dude! Like we had to do this scene there because we shot the scene originally in southern Idaho, and then we couldn't use the film. So we had to redo the whole thing.
Oh, that's nuts. Well, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
That's the blooper right there.
So much for tuning in to Iron Age Nights. You guys have been absolutely fantastic. Oh, good Lord. And this has been and awesome. I love this movie, dude. You did such a killer job.
Thank you, man. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate this.
Oh, it's so good, dude. So good. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. And until next time, cheers, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Cheers, everybody.